guys, so this is Dandelion Song and we are back in Ankara. I just want to record things as I go along because I'm afraid I'll forget them. I believe I'm in the right place. I will be embarrassed if I'm not in the right place. But this is the main train station. And it does have very unusual coordinates. So we're going to look at the coordinates, and this heading here of the train station is a 303 heading in the northwestish, I guess you would say north by northwest, basically towards the Vatican. It's not directly towards the Vatican, but it's basically going, I believe, towards the Vatican. So I'll show you more of that. I lost that line, it disappeared. There are some interesting alignments here. See how things are kind of pointing at this area? This is another reason why I think this is the right area. So trains are coming up again and again. We need to look at the symbolism of trains. Some of the symbolic ties that I have already found with trains that I think are valid have to do with the worm that is in Egyptian hieroglyphs of the pharaohs. And I think I have that in my intro and my outro, but I'll show you that. I'll pull it up here. But before we do that, yeah, let's look at these coordinates. Okay, let me move this so you can see. I'll read it out to you though. So in your lower right hand corner down here. Now Google Earth puts this right here on, I'll zoom in and make sure I have it right. Now usually what they do is also very interesting and right. Now if you look in your lower right hand corner, you'll see a 3956 and then a 1080. So the 1080 would be the spiritual number of 108. That's one of your signs that these numbers should be paid attention to. On the other, sorry, I moved the cursor. On the other one, the east coordinate, there's a 30, there's a 38, there's a 3250. The 50 is the sign of pi. It's actually the Venus pi, because the 50 is the 50th state, which is Hawaii, which is where Obama was born, and it's HI, which is 17, that's the Q. That is the power symbol on everything that anybody holds, and that's all black magic. When you press the power symbol, you are playing into some kind of dark ritual that they have harnessed, or they feel they have harnessed it. But Hawaii is the 50th state, and it's also in the long count of pi, it is the 31st and the 32nd place, right before the 33rd degree. So it is the final state right before mastery. So that 50 right there, I think, is important. And the 32 is also a counterpart of 23. If you add 9 to 32, it's the 23, and we saw the 232 mirror in the Oregon shooting. Now this, in the last video I just put up, I just did one quick gematria on the headline of twin bombing, and there is an Oregon shooting tie in there because the twin bombing equals 1, 2, 2, 3 in the I believe Jewish gematria, I believe, and that was the coordinates. That was the meridian of the Oregon shooting in Roseburg. Well, we can see a little bit of this mirror here because the 32 on this one implies the 2332 mirror, and that is also the Jewish gematria of Oregon. Now, I don't know why they're tying all these together. So I feel like maybe I should draw some lines between all these things and see what else is in the crosshairs. Maybe we can start to predict that way. I don't know. But I want to bring that up. So 50 is a Venus number for pi, and 32 is part of the mirror. Now, in the Umpqua shooting, if you go see my video or if you have seen it already, I talk about the alignments that are visible from the air of that they knew when they were making Umpqua. They knew what day and when, probably what day, but they knew that this was going to happen, and they put the alignments right in the hubs. There's pictures of 8 hubbed, 8 spoked wheels. 2 of them, and the alignment between them is a 3-2-3, which matches Lucifer, but it also matches Oregon in the simple and the English gematria. So this is all tying together. I just want to show you what I see here in the coordinates. Darn, I forgot what I said I was going to show you. Okay, well, while I'm trying to remember, let's look around here because this is a very interesting area. There's a H right here that has a, this is kind of like a circumpunct type of idea. I showed you the alignment of this. I should show you, I don't know if it's going to have an exact, let me see, other exact dimensions. Hold on. All right, well, it's very interesting that it looks like it's 0.1 miles long, and then you do see, you know, now I'm wondering if I did this incorrectly in the other direction. And since it's so short, it's hard to get a parallel, so I had to draw this with a visual parallel on this back line here. 520 feet, 173 yards, but it looks like we have a 1, 2, 3 degree heading, which would also mirror the number. This is the conspiracy number, and it has a bunch of other numbers, a bunch of other tie-ins. Wish I could rattle them all off. Well, the length of this building does mirror the date. I really hope I'm in the right place. So let me measure this other way. I'll just do it here so you can kind of see how this is sort of a challenge because it jumps back and forth here. This is going the other direction, so this won't be the 1, 2, 3. It'll be the opposite of that. Oh, no, sorry, I actually did go the same direction. So it's between, so like you can see that this one isn't parallel, 1, 2, 5. And this is a little more parallel, but we're just doing it on visual. And then it kind of jumps to that one. Let's go the other way. Well, this one is a little bit off of the 303, so just I guess you can see what you think, but this would be a 747, and it would be a July 4th mirror. So I'm not sure which one they're taking, but I really think the Vatican alignment is the big alignment here, and the date alignment with the Vatican. But I just want to show you how everything's pointing at this. This is, in fact, I'm thinking we could probably draw a line, and the actual place would be right here. And there's some different coordinates there. Oh, now I remember train and the symbolism of train. Why do they keep talking about trains and train stations? Here, let me show you that. All right, well, this was not as easy to find as I thought it was going to be. When I was doing Egyptian research before, it seemed like every pharaoh I came up with had a worm in his name. So I think we are in the Middle Kingdom now. Let's see here. Okay, so this is from the New Kingdom of Egypt, and what I had noticed when I went back to the older kingdoms, and here, let me show you this, there was less worms in the older hieroglyphs. Now, I guess it would take a while to do some study on when did the worms come in, because I think that would be good to know. For example, this person, Nebka, an ancient Egyptian king of the 3rd dynasty, has no worms in his name. He does have he has one of the domes. He has the upper dome. It looks like, I think this is the upper dome. Many of them have the upper and the lower dome. In here, this is refers to the chalice. This idea here, I am thinking has to do with Pleiadians, basically, and possibly the idea of the fallen Nephilim being of the Pleiadian race. Now we cannot broad brush Pleiadians, because there are so many Pleiadians, and also we could even the ones who fell, we can't really broad brush them. From what I have studied, their leader of their away team was called Simjaza, and he one of the people under his command was the one who led the rebellion to mate with the women. And then Simjaza basically took the heat for that. Well, we don't know. I've never led an away team to a planet that I believe that our planet, if it is a planet, I think it's actually a plan of the ETs, but I've never led an away team anywhere. The movie Interstellar talks about leading an away team and getting into a time warp that you are unprepared for, and that could be what the Pleiadians came up against. Well, anyway, so I just feel like we need to coolly look at all this without moralizing and demonizing things, and I think we'll understand better. Well, anyway, this is still used by the Vatican today to put your hands up like this, but originally I believe it was a Pleiadian it was a Pleiadian type of idea, and I believe that it was actually part of a star map. They would hold their elbows down, and there would be a head in between here, and that would make a W. Now this is relevant because the W is the 23rd letter today. In my intro, I think it's my intro or my outro, I show a few of these figures with their hands up. This is also on the Hoover Dam, and it has various connotations. Some of it is anything that's post-Vatican is basically Vatican contaminated. Anything that's pre-Vatican has more useful symbolism for us. I believe pre-Vatican it was a star map of the Pleiades, because the ancient Egyptians, which I can't show you all this, but it's in hiddenrecords.com. Most of the best pictures and the best information is in hiddenrecords.com by Wayne Herschel. He talks about that the ancient Egyptians made star maps of the Pleiades in the leg of the bull, which was also the shape of the W. And I've talked about that in a few videos, but it hasn't been for a while. So this would be another shape. This is just the hands raised up, but in its other permutations, it is a W. And so that would be another code for the shape of the Pleiades as a star map, just a star map. They used it for teaching stars. Right, well anyway, we don't see any snakes in this one, but let's go back to this one. Where's the years? 7th dynasty? Okay, 17th dynasty. So these are the approximate years. Well, it would be interesting to find out who has worms in their name and who doesn't, because I don't know if you can see this. Let me try to make it bigger. So there's an ankh and a worm. And this is, I would say, the lower dome right here. And this right here is a sign that we see in a lot of many pharaonic names. This is what we would call the globus crucis, and this is the flag. A lot of people, when they talk about Flagstaff, Arizona, they miss the point of that this is a flag, and this is the first word that humans had to mean God. And originally it was a weapon for harming humans. And then it became something that waves in the wind. And that's why flags are so important. There's a lot of shapes that we could talk about in here. But this is the train, I believe. This is the worm. In other hieroglyphs, which I'll try to find and I'll bring it to you, it has horns. It has little sevens on its horns, and that was the Philadelphia train wreck had a 601 on each of its horns, and that was pointing to a date, but it was also the shape of a 7 and had a 7 on each. So many pharaonic names, which I can't find right now, have a little worm. It's usually not in this shape. It's not like on a stair, in the shape of a stairs. It's usually flat. And I don't know, maybe there are time references to this, but it usually has little horns on the little worm. So, very interesting. Now this is the globus cruciger. This is the idea of our world in the eye cosmology being the apple of the eye of God. And this would be the cross of the two eyes, the cross behind the eyes, you could say. And this is where this is the cross that you bear. As a human, you integrate the light and the dark through your eyes, which are the thieves. And the thieves, this is the symbolism that the Freemasons hid in the Bible. They hid it for themselves, and you were supposed to go around gouging your eyes out, because was the literal interpretation of the Bible. But for themselves, they were supposed to understand brain anatomy, and it talks about that these are the two thieves and that they steal away your awareness because you are supposed to use your pineal gland for awareness, and the pineal gland is actually right behind this cross in the brain anatomy. And I have a video on that, my Globus Cruciger video, and it's not such a great video because I wasn't good at making videos then, but it is a great concept. So please go see that, and then you will see how much I've improved in video making. There's also a lion in here. Lions have been very important with, and very, I think there's a Bride of Christ connection for sure with lions and also with unicorns. I haven't found it in the gematria yet, but that doesn't mean it's not there. In this cartouche right here, we see a lower and an upper dome. As you can see, there's the upper dome. This is like a chalice. Here, see? And the lion would be the stem. Very interesting. Okay, to show you the symbolism of this place, these are the things that I can bring you that the other channels aren't working on. They're all doing great work. So this is a 333 heading in this direction. This is heading towards northish. And it's crossing, I guess I could bring it all the way down here. It would be crossing over here. So this is a 98, or 80s and 89, sorry, going in this direction, going towards the southeast. So I had thought originally that the important headings would be heading into the area of action, but it looks like they would be heading out. So then my idea of that would be that these would be like ley line or you know, dark magic conduits of this energy to explode this, you know, whatever they did some kind of dark ritual here, and then they're exploding this energy out along these ley lines. So this, the 89, I'm not sure exactly what this is. It does correlate exactly in a mirror with Lupercalia, which is one of the alignments for this whole area. Lupercalia is very closely aligned with us, but also, what was I going to say? Oh, it also adds to a 17, which is the Q number. It's the pi, and that might be part of the intention of the gematria of Lupercalia as well. Being pi, being holy, and 17 being the number that interrupts destiny. If you're new to my channel and you're trying to hang on because I'm not explaining a lot of my concepts, welcome, and just please hang on. I just made some new playlists yesterday. One of them would be, I think I have a pi background playlist. If I don't, I'll make one in a few days. But I did a menorah playlist. I did an English word decode playlist, and I made a playlist of all of the different amazing drawings that I have found all over the world that really will inform you about the other layer of symbolism that's going on here. So please check that out. I made those playlists for you yesterday. Now, so 89 is of course very close to 90, so that could have also been the heading here, so we need to keep that in mind. So, but this is what showed me that, because the opposite of 269 heading is a 90 heading, and then when I pulled it the other way, I might have set it down wrong, but it's a 269 heading, but this matches the heading, the major heading of the cross in Washington, D.C. I have a lot of Washington, D.C. videos. There's this is in Washington, D.C., this is the alignment that Isis is sitting on, with her knees going in this direction. And this is the FBI anagram, or acronym, sorry, alignment. So we need to learn more about that. But that was so the Pope would stand at the bottom of this alignment when he visited it, and he stood at the Capitol building, and he looked up the cross toward the west, which would be the dying sun. Now here, this is also, let's see if it's pointing perfectly towards the west. It is pointing perfectly towards the west. I lost my line. But it is pointing, oh, here, let me show you the compass up here. Oh, wrong grab. Yep, I'm still recording good. Okay. Yeah, so this is perfectly towards the west. Sometimes that doesn't happen when you take a heading. Different places in the world, it doesn't line up. But this one does. So pulling this out towards the train station, since we don't know exactly where this happened, but I would guess that somewhere along this line, and along this line, which would be the 303 heading, would be the place where they had ritually done this thing. So I just gonna look at some of the coordinates over here. It's all so imprecise. I don't know if you're looking in the lower right hand corner. It's all so imprecise here. I think they said that it happened by the tracks. I don't know. I'll have to look at that more. Okay, so there's a mausoleum here nearby, because this is where we were. See up here in the upper right, there's a mausoleum, looks like, nearby, and it has a synagogue of Satan number on it. And this would also be the mirror of this is, I'm trying to now I'm backwards on what the Skull and Bones is. I think the Skull and Bones is 223 and the Synagogue of Satan is 322. So there's another alignment in here. Now when I was zooming out here, I was thinking, am I seeing another face? Because I saw this and I thought, you know, what is this? And the mausoleum points into this, and then it goes out in this direction. And of course this road curves, but like it's basically more or less a 37, 33 degree heading. Alright guys, I've been looking at this, and you're going to think this is weird, but I do think I see a 322 skull and bone, well, a 233, a skull and bones type of idea here. Mostly I see this looks like the bottom half of a person, but he's missing the lower half of his legs, and that is an Orion or a skull and bones type of idea, because of the constellation Orion is believed to not have the lower half of his legs. And guess what he's also not believed to have? Let's look up here. His also doesn't have his head. I mean, is this possible? Could they have done this? Now, I don't know if you can see this. I'm not saying that I'm right. I'm just wondering, because this train station would be on a time-lapse phallus right here. Can you see this? Because I was looking at this, I was going in going, what is that? First, it's interesting, you first zoom in on a place, you're like, what is that? That's a train station. Now, in Manitoba, in case you think I'm losing it, hold on, don't leave me yet. In Manitoba, over there, the Manitoba legislative building, where they have the Solomon Temple replica that looks like an owl, that is right on the giant man's phallus, and I draw that giant man in my outro. So having an installation on the phallus is not a new idea here. So we would have an installation, and look how many installations we have here. See, we have this one pointing this way, we have this mausoleum pointing this way, we have this 33 direction, the 33 direction, let's see what it crosses. Let's just get the general heading of this one. The 33, because this looks like right angles. Yeah, that's the 303 heading that I found before, more or less. Now in Philadelphia, the 3003 highway was coming out of Isis's mouth right over there, and the Pope spent a lot of time right there by the mouth, and I just did a video on rivers and mouths. There was also a river over there. Rivers and mouths and rivers. Now, these ideas of freeways, these are also current, electricity flows and currents, and traffic flows and currents. These are their ideas of rivers. In the Manitoba man, where they have the installation right there on his phallus, there's actually another river right there. There's a river that comes right down the middle of him, and a special river for his phallus, which also works for his leg. So they are very interested in the flow of things. Here we would have the flow of traffic, I would guess, because I don't see a river. But let me show you here. If this is really a man with the phallus that's in time lapse, it's very Rodin. Was that right? Rodin, or it's very muscular. Look at this. Look at how well it's drawn out. This would be the buttocks over here, This would be this would be the lower aspect of the phallus over here, and there's another one that goes this way. You know, this is do you see the knee? Okay, so look at how beautifully done this is. Look, this would be the man's left leg. It comes over here. Look at the musculature of the thigh drawn out, and the knee right here. But it's cut off right below the knee. Over here we have another leg. Comes down beautifully. The musculature, the striations of the muscles are here. This is a strong man, looks like. And his leg looks like it's cut off below the knee. Now we could say, oh, well, because it's cut off below the knee, that means it's not a drawing and you're just seeing things. Or it could mean that it's Orion and the skull and bones idea. Well, if you look, I don't know a lot about the skull and bones. I studied this a long time ago, and then I kind of decided to forget about it, and then I sort of remember a little bit. But apparently, what they keep their skull and their lower legs, and they only bury the Orion aspect of them, and the rest of it they keep. So this would be a man, either an Orion man without his head or his legs. Now, let's look at the arms here. Let's look at the tummy. See, so here would be. I would draw this out for you. This thing does draw. It's just that it won't let me zoom around, and I have to zoom and go in and out to show you all this because it's all over the place. So it's a big thing, and then you can't see it. Let's see. Look at this. Look at this left arm. This would be the right arm, right here. And this would be, I think, the left arm. Although, since this guy is an archer, I think we should take that in consideration. Maybe there's a time lapse that includes. There's a bow and arrow here. Maybe, I don't know. Okay. Well, I want to show you how well this is drawn, and in time lapse. This would be the belly button. Is that a park? Looks like a park. Okay. Belly button. There's another time lapse, and there's another time lapse here. Okay, here's some of the abdominal structure. This goes up to this. This is one of the arms that has musculature. I don't know. I've seen some stronger arm candidates than that. This would be, though. So I'm not saying for sure. I'm just saying maybe. What do you guys think? Let me know. This would come up. So here we are on the abdomen again. I have all the abdomen muscles, and this is he kind of has like his big pectoral area here, and this would go off to this other arm, which may be drawn here, or it may be out here. Maybe they haven't finished it yet. And then here, this could even be an upward arm over here. This is pretty large. And here's the shoulders. I don't know. There's some other shapes, of course, in here. Once you see the buttocks and the two legs, it's kind of hard to unsee them. For me, I can see it better if I tilt it like this. All right. I didn't mean for this video to get so long. Oh, I wanted to show you the Vatican tie-in again. Hold on. Okay, so drawing a right angle, more or less. I don't have a compass that I can overlay here. And these angles on the map, they do, you know, just the view matters. Well, this one, more or less, this is the line that goes, this is the 88-degree line from the Vatican, the way that the Vatican is aligned on the map. And so this would be a 42-degree, a 42-mile distance, sorry. That would be the meaning of life number, and then it's an 1111 heading, which we've seen 1111 coding recently too. So people are going to think, oh, you know, this isn't a real alignment. I will find what the direct alignment is. but they do work in triangles here. So let me just make sure, like, I kind of want to draw it more this way. See what you think. It could be a 1447. This other line, so this is the Vatican line right here, and this other line, the one that crosses it, is the line that happens to go from the eye of Isis in ancient Babylon. Here we go. Yes, okay, here we go. So here's the eye of Isis in ancient Babylon, and this goes straight to the Freedom Tower. Oh, I didn't see there's another face right there. This goes straight to the Freedom Tower, and along the way it probably hits many sites, and I haven't fully investigated that, but there's a cross right here, so this would be a cross between the Vatican and ancient Babylon. And it does look to be in the middle of nowhere. Maybe they have a train station, you know, maybe, you know, somewhere people are planning this right now, who knows. Oh my goodness, look at this. Look at the map length, you guys. Look at the map length, 911 or 119. Now, yesterday, of course, was the 11/9. Okay, so, and it's an 80 degree, that's an 80 degree heading. Okay, probably no one else is going to find that, because I think I'm the only one who has these two lines on their Google Earth. Let's just take a look. Oh, here, while I'm here, we need to look at the coordinates of this crossing place. So I'll let you see. So it's down here in the lower right. So without zooming in, which would be much more accurate, it would be a 40, 11, 28 north, and 35, 327 east. Okay, let's pull this over to the Vatican. So this is the heading that's going towards the Vatican. It looks like it's an 83 heading, and as if you watched my videos yesterday was 10/9, and the anti-date of that, the Julian calendar, which is the Roman calendar, and this is Rome, the anti-date of that would be the 83rd day, which is the last day of the Julian calendar. So interesting that this has a heading to Rome celebrating basically that number. And the 86, looks like the 86 degrees is also hanging in there. Oh, so this is Palatine Hill. This is actually isn't the alignment to Rome, but let's take a look here, because this is a 171. And to Palatine Hill is the start of Rome, and this is, I have a few videos on Lupercalia, well, actually one, mostly having to do with the parasitic start of Rome that was here, the start of the parasites of the planet, and also parasites that affect you and your health, having to do with wolves and dogs and that kind of thing. Most people happily worm their dogs, and they don't realize that they are mammals, and if you live with dogs, you will have worms too. And I bet you've never been wormed, and I bet you never wormed your kids. So I have some good videos on that called Parasites of the title. I'm going to make a health playlist, but right now I only have 2 videos. So just want to point out the 171 number here, because that had to do with the Mecca sacrifice of 717 was their initially reported number, which was 3 times 239. Okay, so here we are. This is Palatine Hill. Let's pull it over to the Vatican itself. This looks like Lisa's hairdo, right? In The Simpsons. I wonder if she is the key. Okay, so when we pull it over here, it's a 283. $91. I don't know, maybe, I don't think, I don't think I'm going to save that because I have the other line. Now we know that this heading, this going in this direction is the 88-degree heading. So, oh yeah, I do have to save this so I can get the opposite. Hold on. So I'll just save it. Sorry. Okay, let's see. Let's find it again. I'll grab it right here because I can see which line is which. So going in the other direction, this is an 89 or a 90. Okay, so if this is a 90-degree going in this direction, wait a minute, it should be, oh, you know when you pick headings up and you set them down, they change. I'm going to have to pull it all the way out. So it would be 269. Again, it would be that 269 heading. You know, where it ends up here is on the 269. I think all these headings are local. And once you pull them over, they change. I don't know if you've ever done this in Google Earth. But if we come back to this line that's closer to the Ankara station, it's the same line that was measuring 90 over there with 269 going in the other direction, which matches the alignment in Washington, D.C. But down here it's a 101 heading, which this is the gateway number. So going from the Vatican toward Ankara would be a 101 heading locally, because all the headings change every so often. So the 101 heading has to do with the gateway number, and usually I associate this with CERN. I'll show you where CERN is. Right here. It's on this fillet line, which goes right through Castel Sonio, Palatine Hill, Lago Averno, which is a gateway to the underworld. It goes down to the first temple of Isis, and it goes all the way up to Stonehenge and right through Paris, right through the Solar Man right there. So those are all. So the fillet is the gateway line. This is I call this the fillet line. I'm the only one who talks about this line that I know of. All right, well, I drew the line back to ancient Babylon just because to see how it goes to her eye right here. You can see this lady here, pretty precisely drawn. It does have an interesting map length, and this could be a 125. I'm not sure what the degree heading really is. All right, well, thank you for joining me on the Google Earth perspective. You can see where this is right here located compared to many other important sites here. Island of Philae, ancient Babylon, CERN, Italy, the Vatican. So there's a lot more that we could draw. I think I will take a look and I'll probably draw this person that I found here in Ankara. And thank you guys for listening. Talk to you soon. Love you.